I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network, a leader of one of Donald Trump's political action groups who used to be the spokesperson for another one of Donald Trump's political action groups, testified before the criminal grand jury now impaneled in the Southern District of Florida in the federal courthouse in Miami in connection with Special Counsel Jack Smith's ongoing criminal investigation into Donald Trump's theft of government records and obstruction of justice. And of note, the individual who did the questioning of this individual, Tyler Budowich, the Donald Trump Political Action Committee leader. The individual questioning him was none other than Jay Bratt. Now, Jay Bratt is the top counterintelligence official at the Department of Justice. You may remember the name Jay Bratt, as well as he was the individual who met with Donald Trump's lawyers at Mar-a-Lago on June 3rd of 2022, when Donald Trump's lawyers presented Jay Bratt with an attestation under penalty of perjury that they conducted a diligent search of Mar-a-Lago and did not identify any additional classified records other than the 38 classified records they turned over to Jay Bratt at that meeting. Of course, we know that attestation to be completely false. The Department of Justice executed a search warrant on Mar-a-Lago in August of 2022 and found thousands of other government records and over 100 classified records and many folders with classified markings that were indeed empty. This presentation of Taylor Budowich, the questioning of Taylor Budowich before the grand jury in Florida, took about 1 hour in length. And one of the areas that it focused on was a statement that Donald Trump released when Budowich was the spokesperson after Donald Trump returned 15 boxes of records back in January of 2022. You'll just recall the timeline was Donald Trump stole the classified records and other records from the White House in January of 2021 after he was defeated in the election. The National Archives reached out to him in May of 2021. Donald Trump lies and lies and lies. He's caught lying. And then he says in January of 2022, hey, I've got these 15 boxes. This is all I have. I'm going to return it to you, DOJ. Donald Trump turned over a number of newspaper clippings and magazines, but interspersed within those magazines and newspaper clippings was sensitive compartmented information, classified records, and other top secret records. And the National Archives then referred this matter after Donald Trump returned those 15 boxes to the Department of Justice, which then picked up the investigation thereafter. But you see, Donald Trump issued a statement on or around February 18th, 2022, about the boxes that were returned to the National Archives. This is what Donald Trump states. And by the way, this statement by Donald Trump, again, would have been released through Taylor Budowich, Donald Trump's spokesperson at the time. That's why Taylor Budowich is being questioned by the top counterintelligence official at the Department of Justice, among other reasons. There's also believed to be drafts of this statement as well that Donald Trump had prepared, also stating that he had turned over all classified records and all government records, and that he didn't have anything at all. The Department of Justice, we have learned, has their hands on the drafts that Donald Trump prepared with Budowich. But let me read you this statement that was released by Donald Trump, but through Budowich, his spokesperson. It says the following: the National Archives did not, quote, find anything. They were given upon request presidential records in an ordinary and routine process to ensure the preservation of my legacy and in accordance with the Presidential Records Act. If this was anyone but Trump, there would be no story here. Instead, the Democrats are in search of their next scam. The Russia hoax turned out to be a Democrat-inspired fake story to help crooked Hillary Clinton. Impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, and so much more has all been a hoax. The fake news is making it seem like me, as the president of the United States, was working in a filing room. No, I was busy destroying ISIS, building the great economy America had ever seen, the greatest economy America had ever seen, brokering peace deals, making sure Russia didn't attack Ukraine, making sure China didn't take over Taiwan, making sure there was no inflation, creating an energy independent country, rebuilding our military and law enforcement, saving our Second Amendment, protecting our border, and cutting taxes. Now Russia is invading Ukraine. Our economy is being destroyed. Our border is once again overrun, and the mandate continues. Instead of focusing on America, the media just wants to talk about their plan to get Trump. The people won't stand for it any longer. That was ultimately the statement that he released. However, there were drafts of the statement. And how do we know all of this? Let's not forget the search warrant affidavit that the Department of Justice submitted. When they executed the search warrant, they had to get the approval of Magistrate Judge Reinhardt, which they got on August 5th of 2022. Accompanying the search warrant submission that they made to Magistrate Judge Reinhardt, they had the search warrant affidavit, which Judge Reinhardt, you'll recall, unsealed some portions of it. Other portions remain sealed. But let's take a look at some of the key points in this search warrant affidavit, because it also explains everything that's going on here. We have to connect the dots here, right? Paragraph 25 of the search warrant affidavit, in connection with the search warrant executed at Mar-a-Lago several months later in August of 2022, refers to the February 18, 2022 situation. On February 18, 2022, the archivist of the United States, chief administrator for NARA, stated in a letter to Congress's Committee on Oversight and Reform, Chairwoman the Honorable Karen B. Maloney, that NARA had ongoing communications with representatives of former President Trump throughout 2021, which resulted in the transfer of 15 boxes to NARA in January 2022. NARA has identified items marked as classified national security information within the boxes. The letter also stated that, quote, because NARA identified classified information in the boxes, NARA staff has been in communication with the Department of Justice. This letter was made publicly available at the following uniform resource located URL. On February 18, 2022, the same day, the Save America Political Action Committee, PAC, which Taylor Budowich was the spokesperson, posted the following statement on behalf of Donald Trump. The National Archives did not find anything. They were given upon request presidential records in an ordinary and routine process to ensure the preservation of my legacy, and in accordance with the Presidential Records Act. An image of the statement is below. And then as you go to the paragraphs below, they are all redacted. And we believe the reason for these redactions, it describes the process whereby drafts were being prepared by Trump and Taylor Budowich regarding Donald Trump's attempts to claim that everything had been returned, showing his intent that he knew that he was stealing records that absolutely did not belong to him. And this was part of his attempt to cover up the theft of these records and his intent to use these records for purposes that could be harmful to our national security. And now we know from other reporting we've done here on the MeidasTouch Network, we believe the Department of Justice has informed Donald Trump's lawyers that Donald Trump is a target officially of the criminal investigation by Special Counsel Jack Smith, that charges are imminent for obstruction of justice and the Espionage Act violations, among other charges. And when we see that you have Jay Bratt, the top counterintelligence official of the DOJ, as the person asking the questions of Taylor Budowich, former spokesperson of the Save America PAC, who is now the head of a PAC called MAGA Inc. as well, you connect the dots there, and obviously there are serious serious concerns regarding Donald Trump engaging in violations of the Espionage Act. Why else would you have the top counterintelligence official being the one asking those questions in this particular fora? Should also be mentioned that this grand jury in the Southern District of Florida Federal Courthouse has been taking testimony from other individuals at Mar-a-Lago who work at Mar-a-Lago over the last month. And look, folks, things look like it's moving closer and closer ultimately to this indictment, which could drop, I think, now at any moment in time. But there you have it, folks. You got Taylor Budowich. Oh, Taylor Budowich responded. I could try to read for you the response by Budowich, which he's a Trumper. And, you know, you could pretty much surmise what he's going to say. Let me pull it up. Taylor Budowich. Budowich wrote, I'll read you some portion. Today, in what can only be described as a bogus and deeply troubling effort to use the power of government to get Trump, I fulfilled a legal obligation to testify in front of a federal grand jury, and I answered every question honestly. America has become sick and a broken nation, blah, 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 blah. I mean, these people, folks. Anyway, justice is on its way. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers. Help us get there. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. And wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. Hit subscribe on our YouTube channel and have a great day.
Lock him up! Indictment season is upon us. Celebrate with the new Indictment Season t-shirt and v-neck exclusively at store.MeidasTouch.com.